Welcome to the Corey Shepherd podcast. This is episode 24. Welcome back to all the... I can't get this right. Welcome to all the... Listen. Welcome back. This is Corey Shepherd podcast, right? This is episode 24. I get better at... another young man will to work with me. So let me deal with this first, right? Like and share and subscribe. Like, apparently I'm supposed to be saying that at the beginning of every episode. I'll never remember that. So let me say it now, and maybe I'll just make one of these things so I could just include it in every episode so I don't have to remember that at all. So the podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. TuneIn Radio is always on YouTube. And as I talk in YouTube, let me make a commitment. Maybe I should write this down in ink so I could make sure and do it. By the turn of 2021 for the latest, you will have a video version of this podcast, right? Whether it's conversations, it's just me or whatever, you'll have a video version. For certain people who tell me to do video all the time, you'll get a video version, right? You ain't gonna like what you're seeing, but we go do something and put it together. And what I will do as well, let me commit one time. You see all the clips that I tend to be talking about on the internet, then people will be asking me for the clip after. Once I'm doing video, and I had to figure out how to do it, so I'll let it work with me. Once I'm doing video, I will include those clips so it's a little easier for people to follow. But for now, I'll just send you to the clip I was talking about, right? But wherever you find the podcast or wherever you usually listen to podcasts, please just follow, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a rating. It will help a lot. It'll go a long way. So how was everybody's week? I hope everybody had a good week. I had a great week. This was one of the better weeks in this quarantine. Maybe because I break all the rules in the quarantine. But last week Friday, I know we said on this podcast before, and I played the song too, the song with Scrunta and Umi, we parangin. That's is the name Munchies Monster or we parangin? I don't know. I'll ask Colonel. So Colonel is the man who produced that, and they invite us down by Scrunta last week Friday. Me and my little rum side from up in the valley. And they make a music video, so I had a real good time doing that. We pretend to play some music. I don't know how music videos made, actually playing the song, but it was nice, and it was plenty more than I expected because they went all out for the song. They had little dancers and models and a whole scene. I expected that it was, I guess in my mind, is low budget. As I talking about video, I know what I have in mind for video for this podcast, and I could tell you, I no dancers and no models on that. It's gonna be great. But he put together a nice little crew, and it was good. It was good to be down there. You know me, I like to be around people like Scrunta and them. You hear some stories, boy. Like Scrunta was getting into some stories about his heyday in the 80s, and he was talking about when Marshall was just coming up. He said they went and traveled to New York, a bunch of big artists. And he said Marshall's a little boy, you know what I mean? And he in New York, he confused us the way he's saying Scrunta to carry him. And I said, boy, don't worry. When he can't come to pick me up, he'll come with me. And they organize him and thing. And Scrunta saying, I'm not sure how much people know this, but when you listen to the song, no, listen to it with Scrunta in your mind. Scrunta say he writes too young to soak. I don't know if that's public information or what, but I remember hearing that before. So I don't know if people surprised by that or if everybody knew it before. But if you didn't know, right, and if you have doubts, try and listen back to that song with Scrunta voice in your mind. They say I's a tiny tot, and I've been a lot, and they say with utter amusement, even listen to the chorus. I say I'm too young to soak. Oh yo, they making joke. They say I'm playing with fire. When you listen to that, you could hear Scrunta's style coming through in that. So I don't know if you get credit for it. I don't know what it was, but it's nice being around them fellas and hearing them stories. And long and short of the story is the line was so nice down by Scrunta. I forget my quattro along this. Whatever I was supposed to play for this episode, we ain't playing it again. And I really hope to God I get back my quattro. November is not the time to be lost in your instrument. I mean, I don't even know if it matters because I don't know what happened this Christmas time, but we do the right thing, right? We try to go down there and do the social distancing and the mask and the wash your hand. No, and again, I try to be honest. I was not to drink during COVID, boy, because I mean, all the thing I said last week, I want to take back all of it. Maybe they shouldn't serve no thing at all. Maybe, I don't know, if you leave the bars closed, I don't know what needs to be done. Because, boy, my distance get a little by little, it started to get a little closer. And I had my mask most of the time, but, now that you talk about these things all the time, like all the people I talking to in Parang and things, say, boy, we go Parang with the mask, that is nothing. Well, boy, that is something. Because when I play Quattro, I real sweat. And when I sweat out that mask, I don't know if it's doing anything at that point when that mask soaking wet. But it coming off, I had about 2-3 masks, but I sweat through all them masks. And I mean, it wasn't great. But I eat some good pork, some sauce, had some nice food layout and thing. I take a few drinks, and needless to say, by the next morning now, you know, the hypochondriac in me coming out, my COVID gland raised. I started to get sore throat. I started to cough heavy. And here now, this might sound, I don't want to be insensitive here, but to be honest with you, everybody I know who had COVID is talking about how you have a distinct lack of taste. So every time I do this foolishness and go and expose myself, I'm going to put on about 5 pounds after that because I tasting food. At that point, when I get up Saturday morning, I eating curry. Every minute I pass in something in my mouth. I say, let me eat some pumpkin and something. Anytime I get taste, I go in straight in the hospital. I guess that is my little COVID test when the COVID gland raised. But I mean, other than that, I was good. I'm not feeling any symptoms. Don't worry about it. I don't know if I asymptomatic. I think I'm good. Let me not call them thing on myself. I was a joke. But all in all, it was a real good experience. And it's nice to be able to just play a little music. I guess, November would be a time we playing gigs. We'd be playing a lot. And it was another one of the, a lady in the band, her daughter's birthday was a Saturday night. So we went and played a little music for her. But that was also, everybody was tired. Everybody watching the numbers and the distance and that kind of thing too. So that started and finished fast. And then daddy, my father told me we have something to play on Tuesday night too. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping that, we had to find the balance. My mother didn't give me a warning. She said, stop going all over the place. And it's true. But we had to find the balance. But I can't take the and maybe it's just the idea of the lockdown, because, all the thing I talk on this podcast about beach and beach, me ain't going no beach yet. And since restaurants open, I must see went once. So sometimes the lockdown like it mentally, yes, it's just knowing that places closed because I don't really go nowhere anyhow. But it's nice to interact with people and be able to play a little music. It's one of the missing elements. You could talk to people on Zoom and thing, but playing music on Zoom would be kind of corny. It's kind of hard to do. Too much delays and them kind of things. So getting together and playing music, I'm hoping I could do it safely a few times over the Christmas period. But like I keep saying, I don't know what house-to-house parang looking like. Like when the fellas in the rum side tell me they have a little thing, Christmas Eve night. Now, I know myself. Let me not say about nobody else, right? I know myself good enough. If Christmas Eve night, I end up in a little thing and everybody calling you now to play music, telling you, night, some of people is about 10 people, like it's take 20 people to get COVID or something like that. So now it's about 10 people. But I know myself, if I go there and play music, and I know the place he carried me to, we went there at our Old Year's night before. And music is sung different in some houses, you know what I mean? And that house, that music is ring out, boy. And I remember our Old Year's night some years ago, we playing there. And you know what? Angostura in the Wisdom had just changed the bottles with the white oak and the puncheon bottle. So I pour in my little white oak, and I know my measure. I know until I'm good. And I thinking it's white oak I drinking and it's puncheon, boy. That was the worst Old Year's night, boy. First day of the year, I fumbling in. So I know when I go there what will happen, because if it's Christmas Eve night, even if we go and we play safe and everybody do the right thing, it's hard for paranderos to just disband and say, all right, bye, Merry Christmas. That's not happening. It could be, let me pass by this one, let me get this one a parang, let me touch that one. I don't know if people want people in their house. I would rather assume no. So I'm going to do my best to stay away from that. And I didn't say last year I wasn't paranging, and now I come and lost. Well, let me not say I lost my quattro. Hopefully I get back my quattro. But if I ain't get back my quattro, well, I'm sure I ain't paranging this season. It's a sign. It's a sign for me to stay home and protect myself. But anyway, what we come to talk about in this episode here. This week was an interesting week for the police service of Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know how much times I say this on this podcast, but like it's just one of them things, boy. The police had a rough week all year. Again, this is one of the things where when I do video, I'll pull in the clip and thing, but now you gotta look fit. A policeman, well, first, a policeman get charged for not wearing his mask. I don't know. And listen, that policeman who they show not wearing the mask, like every picture they take, he is the same. He not exactly wearing the police uniform. He have your own little, like he's a vigilante. But apparently the man wasn't wearing the mask. Gary gave the man a ticket. I guess if police issue a ticket for not wearing mask, I suppose they must wear the mask. It could be problems. Well, you remember a video went wrong when we now get into COVID where a policeman, was it that video or was somebody saying that? But I can't remember now. No? But a policeman was in a van going to buy KFC. Like the policewoman came out to go and buy the KFC. And then she must remember, or they tell her she can't wear the mask if she ain't come in. You know, she went back and borrowed the man mask and put it on. But I guess at that point, everybody adjusted to it. But I suppose it's only right that if only gain people ticket, because I see that they rush Frankie's on the avenue. And I think the goal is just to get people to stop liming and drinking, which I could understand. So they rush Frankie's and they tell people in Frankie's, listen, anybody who don't have on the mask or the mask pulled down, they're giving them tickets. Now it's trickier because the thing is, you can't eat with the mask, you can't drink with the mask and thing. But the police say that law about eating and pulling down your mask to eat, that is only covered non-alcoholic beverages. So if you eat a fruit cake or that one rum in that, you can't eat that in public, I suppose. But I would think it more effective to tell people you cannot drink alcohol in public than to do that. But there's put the police in a kind of spot. Because, I mean, police enforcing that must be feeling some kind of way too. And people arguing with them and saying, but they're writing the ticket for the people nonetheless. So I do feel like it had to be done. Or something had to be done. Because while I might not, I always feeling like, they should find a ways for the bars to be able to open. Even if you give them less capacity. I don't know why it is, because it's business people still. But having said all that, I feel like when you pass the law, we should obey the law, I guess is what I'm trying to say. If you give them the right to buy and carry, oh God, Trinis, we can't buy it and carry it right on the pavement by Frankie's where we used to buy it and carry it when Frankie's was open anyhow. Come on. The establishment itself should get fined or should pay a fine if that is the case. And now again, I agree that we should find some way for them to open and really be able to make money. But for as long as that is the law, it shouldn't just be the individuals getting tickets, because the people in Frankie's fully well know that is what they're doing and everybody liming on the pavement, and that happening all over the country. So fast forward from that, our next video started to circulate now on George Street in Sawh. And I don't know what the preamble was or what it has went on, but like they're trying to give a fella a ticket for the mask. Now, they had said the same thing happened by Frankie's. A fella tried to throw away the mask and they charge him for littering. So he get 2 tickets. He had to pick it up and he got a littering citation. But on George Street now, the man arguing with the policeman, and he's saying basically he threw it down, and he arguing with the policeman that the policeman picked up the ticket from the ground that wasn't he didn't throw that. And boy, the man get up and tried to walk off, and the policeman like he chuck him, kind of hold his throat, boy, that man hit that police at bellows. It's the most, boy, I never see something so precise, and for somebody to be choking you and you thinking away and you land a bellows, and the policeman have on a mask, but you say like whap. I say, but we're using the martial arts or something. This is definitely, if he go in the Olympics, we bound to get a gold medal for taekwondo, one of them things. We are wasted talent here, because that man land that slap so flush. And well, I think to myself now, well, boy, you are a relic digger. And the tall I need to get in my life the amount of restraint what the tall police have. Tall police is the most restrained man. I don't know what. At first, he looked like he was checking in the vest. I don't know if he was going to take out like a taser. It was high up. It wasn't looking like he was going for a gun or nothing. But tall man just kind of like was real cool. The other police rushed him, of course, and they they get him under control, if you want to call it that. And by the time they reach, boy, they had a calypso. Who sang that? Boy, I think it's Blakey. Licks in the police van. And so said so done. Some licks in the police van. Yes, that man get, and listen, if he get out in the police van, or let know up in the police station, right? But the amazing thing is, tall man in Lana blow, tall man in swing at him, tall man in do nothing. So I don't know if tall man was in shock with the bell. I mean, I don't know if you ever get bellas. If I get slapped, when you get slapped, a lot of things could change in your life at that point in time. When you're talking big. And it's something about, so, you know, we used to always talk about that Pablo. I used to tell Pablo about that all the time, Brethren Pablo. Them days, you kind of like fighter. I don't know why that used to be the case. We used to like fight a little bit. And Pablo was a man quick to hit people a slap. Pablo was like that martial arts man. If you slip, you slide. And the thing about a slap, you're learning it for it to make noise. It's not just about the pain. It's you have to make noise. They're whap. And of course, everybody like, oh, nah boy, soul, nah boy. That is the part that's get people in trouble, you know, because that way man could have lost their life now. And I always used to be telling Pablo, I say, Pablo, when you have thing and you have to fight with these men and them, you can't be slapping people. You have to hit men all right. Because when you slap them, nobody it's not like man knocking out or nothing. That is fight. We had a fight now or run or whatever it has happened. You cause that big embarrassment and people react now as a scene. And so said, so done. One day I in a club. What? They had a club it was a real short time, but close to my courts there on Long Circular Road, had a little spot, boy. Somebody go remind me of the places, you know, I can't remember. Opposite where the football field is by the barracks on Long Circular Road side. It's almost upstairs. I think it's Amar and them other building there. Where they used a service center or something. But anyway, we went there for some kind of song system thing, you know, boy. I think it was Cell Construction and Matsy Miller and them, but they had to play 45s. They couldn't play the MP3 thing or the Serato thing. They had to play juggle real records. So we going up there, boy, and lime. I can't remember who I was with, boy. And Pablo called and tell me he coming up the road. I said, well, all right, well, we lime in here. When you come up here, we go lime and whatever we do after, we do after. And boy, listen, I find like we lime in long. We ain't seen Pablo at all. I say, you know what? Boy, let me come outside. Yes, let me go down. Boy, when I go on and I peep out the door, it's one little door to leave and a staircase, the same place people entering, they exiting. I'm pretty sure now there's a fire hazard. But you can't really get on the step when it's too crowded for people to come up in there. And boy, as I open the door to go outside, there's fight on the step. You see fight? All them bouncers, it's one big fight going down. So I come back inside. I think might have been Colonel Self was with. I come back inside and we lime a five. I say, boy, we can't leave now, you know, that thing. We lime and thing and... But you know, it's Pablo, they beating up all them bouncers, beating Pablo and call police to him and the police soft him up. He said the police carry him up in the back of Federation Park and soft him up. There's name carry him in his station. They just gave him some lumps and leave him out there. So I trying to figure out, well, but Pablo, what went on? Like, we was good all the time. I talking to you, say you're coming up in the club. Same kind of thing. Pablo say he coming up the steps, something, the bouncer games I'm talking. He say, boy, I slap one, pow. He say, when the next one rush, I slap him, pow, pow. He say, boy, but the problem is slapping them and people making noise, but all of them coming still. I was like, but Pablo, why you try and hit one all right? Anyway, I know what it's quite. But the moral of the story is the police got real hard bellas and it was embarrassing and it was loud, but tall man holy own, tall man in bother to make no scene, and that was about it. But that fella had a real belly too to slap a policeman like that. I really would not think, if I had to draw that up in my mind, I would have drawn it up real different. I find that whole scene, even though he gets some lumps, that whole scene play off much cooler than I thought it would have in my mind. And then almost the next day again, they show you a video from Maruga. Now that one, all I had to watch, that is craziness. I don't know what was going on with them police. If them had in a few, that couldn't be normal police who trying to lock up some. 3 police trying to lock up 2 Venezuelans. And boy, they get in a fight and a whole crowd watching. Same thing with the crowd again. The crowd making it embarrassing. The crowd cheering on the Venis on them to make a dash for it. You know, the 2 Venezuelan get away. I feel one get away with a side of handcuff and he hand to like policeman lost his handcuff. Like they go on one, they couldn't go on the next one. And I think to myself, but what kind of training these fellas have? All that big talk, Guy Griffith is be talking. They had to pull in your boys, man. They had to pull in your boys. They had to do some burpees and do some little bag work and things. This ain't working, man. And it's not like to me, if I had to, I don't know what is the rule book on how to apprehend people, but it looked to me like them break all the rules because they were swinging at the men, they choke them, they try all kind of different things. But the nice thing is with the policeman, it's that one big dude and a small Venezuelan. And that policeman at one point, they holding one another and they tussling there. But at one point, that man, when you're bun and you had to stop and take a breath, he holding him, but that man drawing some big breath blow. The man blowing like ATM Charles. If you see blow, that man can't catch your breath, boy. And eventually the fella just wriggle away and run. The policeman gave the fake hustle run, like if you're trying to run behind him, but he was never running behind. I didn't see any video like he tried to go after next fella, like if that fella had something to do with it. But boy, it was just a rough week for the police overall. I hope Gary had to call them in. Call in your boys. Talk to everybody. So gets all man some kind of order. I don't know what it have. For the police have some kind of medal. There's a medal of honor and thing for the police. He need a medal. Because for him to stay so cool under that slap, he needs to get a little medal. But talk to your boys in Moruga and thing, man. We can't be going through that to arrest people. Anyhow, Diwali was Saturday. And Diwali is one of my easily one of the favorite times of the year for me. Now, I'm trying to lose some weight, so I had a toss up Diwali day because I was going good with my salad and my veg and thing and my lean meat and all these nice things and do eat for 24 hours for the day and all these things. And then my mother called and say, boy, I'm cooking some curry. Or like coming up the road, I couldn't resist. I eat real curry. Every time they offer me curry, I eat it. And then in my mind, right, I tell myself, I'm going and eat just the veg. I will just eat chana, the little pumpkin, I will throw in the mango too. And if they have chicken, that kind of like veg and chicken by itself. But, God boy, that paratha called my name. I need no dalpuri. At least that's a plus. That's what I usually go for. But I get some paratha in me. And that was about it. So I'm back to square one with the diet, but the Diwali ain't coming back next weekend. So I'm going back and I'm trying to get back. This weekend, I'm going to get back to where I was last weekend. Some more weight loss goal. But I remember a fellow named Brian, he Roman, but I used to go by that man every Diwali. But I know happened to that. Like, I get invited there again. Like, that's the end of that. You can call me back. Now, when you're talking about getting invited by people to go, or people inviting you to come by them for Diwali, right? It's a funny kind of thing. Because people in this country just loosely say things. And I don't think people appreciate how damaging their words could be now. And how, like we real low-key racist in this country. I don't know if it's real racism up there. Xenophobia up there for sure. I don't know why you call it like anti-religious thing. When you what is anti-Semitism? What I mean? Only Christianity or that mean anybody religion? I ain't sure. But you see, we make some kind of loose statement about people, race, and religion and thing. And I mean, this episode is all about that, right? So one of the things that people like to say plenty. Maybe I should tell my story first and then say what people say, right? This is my story. When you grow up in St. James, you be a part of plenty different religious things, right? So I talked about that before with Hussein, right? Where I was never Muslim. But I fast for Hussein. I sit down and I listen to what the imam had to say, and I eat the food when they break fast. They have a mandir on what's the name of that street? Bethel Street, I think so. We're almost next to Polytechnic there, on the up street, not on Macrapo Street side. They have a mandir. We used to go there and clean the mandir. They used to give you a little thing. All I want is food. They had a Baptist yard too. On Panker Street, just before you reach St. James Sekara Baptist yard. When it's Thanksgiving time, I go in there and I eat and whatever. The Baptist Thanksgiving was one that I used to look forward to. Because there's plenty. Now, I'd admit to it, like I had a real fear for religion growing up and thing. I always find that when you go in the mosque, I always find the imams is be serious. They must be looking, as a child, I guess, them looking dread to me. All of them used to be looking serious and kind of militant in a kind of way. And same thing with the Baptist church. The Baptist church was a musical place, which I'd like. But boy, when they get into a chant and they start to go, listen, it could get frightening for me as a young person back then. And but the nice thing about when Baptists had Thanksgiving, them going to get a little bag, boy. I don't know if anybody had ever experienced when you get a little bag and it have bread, sour soup, things. Boy, listen, that all inside the thing in one bag. I'm so glad. I don't care what I say in all the amounts of prayers you could say before. I reverend and everything. Reverence, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful on any people place because I want the food to share. And it's the same for who say Diwali. One thing I know about religion is all of them will fast for a while, but eventually they go run real food. Same thing, look at Christmas time. It's a food thing. You have to do even Lent. I sure people who give up thing for Lent, just get all of it back Easter weekend, especially during that. Everything you give up, you make up for it. Well, first, you let loose Monday and Tuesday. So you overindulge Monday and Tuesday, you take 40 days and you make a comeback. Then you overindulge from Holy Thursday. You know, 2 hot cross buns. I just want to put that out there. It's one of the greatest inventions ever. So I guess for me, you see, religion, I always was part of whatever religion it is. Still, I am part of none now. And I don't object to any, and I'm not part of any now. But I'm saying all that to say, right? When you grow up in St. James, you have a kind of appreciation, if not an understanding, for several different religions. Most people in St. James could tell you the same story that I telling you. It was just a part of it. It's almost like as little youths growing up, we go wherever we go in. So when we go in the Husayard, it's all of us going up there. You know what I mean? And when I need Baptist, everybody waiting for food. This is it's all inclusive in there. So imagine my surprise now when people telling me, you don't eat by this one and you don't eat by that one, and because you don't eat prayers food. I don't know if people understand what they're saying when they say they don't eat prayers food. Then people pray on that food. You know, I have a thing that just comes to my mind to a neighbor of mine. God bless his life. Named Derek. Passed away, most unfortunately. I think it was last year. Suddenly, it was a shock to everybody. But I remember when I now moved, I used to live in St. James on the street behind Smokey and Bunty, and then we moved to the street with Subways. And I gone wrong there, and I don't think my mother had moved in before my mom and them. I think I had red eye. And I had to go and stay by myself, like I quarantined in a long time. So I had to go and stay by myself. The house wasn't fully furnished, or it wasn't really ready yet, but I had red eye, so I decided I was going wrong there early. I might have been 17 kind of age. I was going tranquil at the time. And same Derek, right next door to my mother, there, if you know St. James' house is close together, it's right behind my mother's house, Derek living in the next yard. And Derek come and tell me, Derek, I don't know what religion he was. I don't even know if it was a religious thing, to be honest. It just had roti sharing. And as a nice neighbor, Derek always treat me good. Derek always move cool with me. And Derek come and he call me out. He say, Corey, give me a container. Give me a container there. I'm going to get some food for you. I say, all right, cool. I don't know why I remember this, because this story had nothing to do with nothing. But I remember going inside and bringing out, them country house margarine container, the little one margarine butter kind of thing. The little round container. Now we keep that to putting it. I remember coming out to that container and that man watched me and shoot him, Corey, bring a proper container for me, please, to put some food. What Derek looking for is a trough, because the amount of curry Derek give me and roti and them, I was so grateful for that. So I really never feel no way going by nobody. I never thought to myself, well, Derek gonna pray on this food and pray wickedness and evil into my heart. I don't know the concept, honestly. It's a strange thing. And even if, like, I don't know why you would feel that way, to be honest, but the way we just comfortably and casually throw out, I don't eat prayers food. Like I was seeing Cassia from Cassia Victory Lab saying that on her Facebook too. This thing, we should stop saying the term prayers food. It's really very, very disrespectful when you think about it, right? Any religion you just say grace before meals or whatever prayer you say before you. So you just feel because the religion different from yours, that somebody going and pray out all the evil on you. And you go and eat that, and you go and eat that evil. Well, if you believe that, you believe that, yes. But let me tell you something. I guess, like I said before, I eat the food from all the different prayers. So all them prayers battling up inside of me and neutralizing one another, if that is the case, yes, because I not on that. Even like where I live now, I wasn't home this Saturday night. But last year, I believe, for Diwali, I kind of like going out and seeing the lights. I remember what it was like on a terrible street names, Was it? I think that's a tell street itself. Yeah, it might be same Ethel Street, higher up from Polytechnic, just before you reach up by Royal Castle on the main road in St. James. On Ethel Street, you used to have one of the nicest big displays when they do every Diwali night. And I used to just like to go there and watch the lights and things. It's a relaxing thing. I find it real artistic to the way people do it. I wonder how much people do that now. Like, I don't see as elaborate those types of structures and things that we used to see back then. But anyway, because of where I live now, I decided last year or maybe year before to take a walk around and see lights by people. So I kind of delay. I was going to run and exercise and thing. And instead of doing it 5 o'clock in the afternoon or when I reach from work, I say, you know what, I'll save it for later on in the night. So that while I run, I could see all them lights by who lights up. I ain't even sure who would have lights up and thing, but I'm pretty sure some people would wrong with the lights up. So I say, you know what, I'll run. And boy, while I running now, there's a little quiet neighborhood. So people seeing you coming and they have the little gathering home and things. So from the time people see you approaching, they come in to give you sweets now. If you know me, I go eat all that. And it's so thing. I mean, you don't want to be rude, and I'll never refuse. I mean, refusing food nowhere. But the rudeness coming in now because now my hand full. Because I run by so much people's house. My 2 hands full. And people, as I break a corner, seeing people, like they, as they see you, they come in to get some, because it's not like St. James where plenty people passing over wrong here. You ain't sure to see nobody at all, and you done package out your thing already. So you're not greedy me. I run home quick, drop a set, and then run wrong on the next side. I had so much. I'm sure somebody must spoil. I couldn't even eat all. It was so good. But there again, it's kind of odd. This notion of press food and who do eat this by who, so Baptist thing and the prayer and that, and I don't know about that. Like I remember for who say to, and I only went through this once, where I went a neighbor of mine, my Dennis and Ronald and Nikki and that squad, living all this is real close behind Smoky and Bunty. If you're not from St. James, it's like a couple streets behind Smoky and Bunty. And where my yard was growing up, their yard was right behind. So for some reason, there was sacrifice. The goat was getting killed by them. Now that I think about this, I don't know if this had anything to do with Hussein, but them two things was in my mind as two things together. I might be wrong about that. Somebody go help me with that. But them men kill a goat, boy. I think it was for Hussein. They had to sacrifice a goat or whatsoever. Nothing on the goat is supposed to waste. And I think so. But boy, you know, when we sit down, all of these little boys standing around and saying, I wonder how old we be, but young teenagers probably, if that old. And I remember the big thing now was who brave enough to go and watch the goat get killed. And listen, that goat knew he was going to get slaughtered. That goat was bawling. Like, they just keep bawling and bawling. And boy, that thing was so traumatic for me. I said, what the hell is this, boy? Why I have to be a part of this? Boy, so you can't play like a punk. You have to try and act like if you could stomach this. And I remember when that man go to cut that goat throat, boy, I had to look away. I couldn't take it, boy. But I eat up all that goat. Every piece of him passed by. They use the head. They make sauce. I eat every part of that goat. I ain't leaving nothing behind. But I just point out there because I saw that thing about prayers, food going around, and I don't like it. I find it uncomfortable, real disrespectful, and we had to be a little more mindful of how we talk during that. But I mean, when you're talking about the way people talk to one another and some things they say, because prayers, food, and those types of things, kind of like, to me, it's disrespectful. I don't know what's the word for thing against religion or racist against one race or the other. I don't know what's the right word for it, but bottom line is disrespectful. But nobody more disrespectful than, I talked about it last week, my guy, Dr. Sawh. And last week, I find it real strange because I was following his story and I remember saying, hey, I'm not seeing this in papers nowhere. So I say, see me? I don't want to say too much about this because I don't know if this man planning to deny. We live in a society where you could see a man on video rapping weed with randoms and he could just simply say it's not him. And that's the end of that. You can't do nothing about that. So me ain't coming here to talk about nobody And then next thing you know, I get a letter. The day I get a letter from anybody, it is the end of this podcast. I'm not going through this. I took out for that. But now Dr. Sawh came out and said for himself, like he admit that it's him on the recording, and my guy come out and apologize. So let me play. I think I'm gonna play his initial rant. And I will also play a rant from somebody who is allegedly or apparently, based on what I put together, his wife. So if you are children in the car or you are children, this is not for the children to listen to, right? There's a lot of expletive and obscenities in this, but I want you to listen to it because we had to get to the bottom of this. We had to make some sense of this. We had to live better as people. So only taking Dr. Sawh now. This is Dr. Sawh here.
Yeah, what happened?
Why did you cursing me?
Listen to me. I tell you, don't hang up phone on me.
Yeah, well, I told you not to curse me. I told you not to curse me.
Yeah, but don't hang up phone on me. That's how I just talk.
No, I don't care how you just talk. Do not curse me. I told you that is my cousin who came into the office. I don't need to.
What the police doing in the office?
My cousin is a police, so what happened?
He's a police and uneducated. He don't have O levels. There's dons. Them is dons niggas. What
Okay.
they doing in the office?
Well, okay, what you want him to be doing in the office? You tell me, because apparently you have a reason why he was there. So you tell me why he was in the office. No, well, I am telling you why he was in the office. I told you he came to speak to me. And what he spoke to me about is none of your business.
Yeah, but next time they come to talk to you, go in the police station. Right? How come no other nurses bring police in the office? It's only you. Huh? Go in the police station when they're done working. They finish work early, 3 o'clock. Go in the police station and meet them. Them is nobody. Police uneducated, so they had a little gun and they just feel they have power. All of them is take bribe. All of them is paupers.
Okay, and what's this thing about threatening me again to fire me? Let me
You
hear.
see how we just talk about the labor board and thing?
Right.
And police and all that thing. I swear to God, if ever you bring up that word again about the labor board, I'm firing you on the spot.
We'll hear what now? We'll hear what?
And I don't care about you. I don't afraid your father, but your father is a pauper compared to me. You know that. Your father is a pauper. I'm a multi-millionaire.
Oh, well, he's listening to you now, by the way.
What?
He's listening to you right now, by the way.
Well, let me hear that. I'm a multi-millionaire. He's a pauper. I hope he hear that. But I don't afraid no fucking body. Right? So if you go talk to labor board again, I'll fire you on the spot.
Well, you don't have to fire me, Dr. Avinar Sawh. You do not have to fire me. Right?
Right, well, do whatever, right?
Right.
But don't, next time you want to
No.
talk to police, go in the station.
Okay.
Go in the police station. Do not bring police in the office. When patient walking and saying that you don't look good.
Go in the police station. Yeah, that's what you're telling me to do now?
I say when
No
you
problem.
want to talk about
No, you make that clip where you want, right? I don't know what the man, but I tell all the police having a rough weekend. You see what I mean? Man, just so the police done that. One thing I had to say about that clip, right? When I heard that the first time, I tell myself, well, as somebody who I get calls from the labor board already about issues with employees, and I take the people call every time and try to resolve whatever the matter is when they call. I find they're fair, they're there to defend employees, and we ain't perfect as no employer. So when people call, I try my best to adjust or make whatever change. I'm not there to hold anybody under duress or disenfranchise nobody or nothing like that. So if we get a call, it had to be that we're doing something wrong or we could do something differently or they're calling to make an appeal. I take any call and I try to resolve the matter. But I just find it strange that the labor board, the ministry is typically put out things telling employees their rights, and what employers should do is put out things to employers as well. But I find like a clip like this where it seems to be an employer threatening an employee that if you talk to the labor board again, you go in and get fired on the spot. And I didn't see any response. Maybe there was a response, but I didn't see any. And maybe it coming, you know what I mean? Maybe I need to just get them enough time. It could be coming, but I didn't see any response. And I find this would be a real good time to give employers a reminder about our responsibility to people and them things. So maybe it coming. They're drafting the response, right? No, this is not the end of it. You had to hear my boy Dr. Sawh. You had to give my boy Dr. Sawh a listen. Because if you think that was the worst part, try again, right? Taking Dr. Sawh here for me.
Yeah, real. Me and Alison talking here, right? A lot of patients racial, right? So we prefer Indian nurse. A lot of people don't like I not racial, I just saying. A lot of people don't want Negro nurses dealing with them, right? So that way I just had to do what is best for my business. As our vibes I just get, as I tell you. So just tell all them applicants, I mean, send a photo ID, please now. Like Tracy Charles. I don't know if Charles is Negro or Indian, but most likely is Negro or mixed, but I want to know. So tell Tracy Charles, send a photo ID, call she and tell she, please. And let she send a photo ID, either, I don't know, maybe she could send it via email or drop it in the office or something and send it to my phone. A picture, thanks. And all applicants, tell them, send a photo ID. Yeah, and me racial, but if you watch everybody who doing it is only Creole, no Indian, only Creoles do them thing. They have one to do, watch them. They go follow George Floyd in America and they want to kill and beat up people and rob people business and thing. And bawling fucking Black Lives Matter. And there's get on like fucking monkey.
No. A few things to break down in that clip, right? First, Dr. Sawh, you've been drinking. Have you been drinking? Do you need a little help with the bottle? Because every time the man said Negro, it sounded like if he had enough few. But anyway, that's aside. The man deal with Charles. The man said Charles could be Negro, Indian, or mix. But I want to see. And I think to myself, I mean, if you want to be racist, you could be modern day racist too, and just get Instagram and go and look for the Charles girl on Instagram and see if she play. You gonna let everybody send a picture. It's the most inefficient racism I ever in my life. All right, let me do a laugh. I don't want to laugh at serious thing now, but again, Dr. Sawh, I don't know what went on with it. And you know what? That's why I didn't play the clip last week, because when I see how quiet it is about this, I tell myself this man had letters flying off to everybody and it's going to be a legal thing, because I would have think he could just deny it based on what I see before with rumor it was 701 or 107 or whatever it was. I thought you could just deny recording. So I don't know why he come out and admit it was him and taking it. I no video of it or nothing. It's just audio. I tell myself, boy, he could have just denied it or whatever. But my guy come out, right? I go and try my best with this, right? My guy come out and he apologized. Now, only know me, right? I say here many, many times that you just move on when people say things and things. And I have some views on racism, but I don't know if people are ready to hear that yet, because I don't know if my views radical or what they are. But a lot of people after this call for the man to get fired, right? And I, again, don't really believe or don't believe at all in that idea of cancel culture. I don't find, you're taking away a man's livelihood and all them things from him. So I have typically spoken against that. But people came out and talk about it from the standpoint of another doctor who was fired some time ago. Now we're gonna get to her, right? But first, I wanna take in Dr. Sawh apology. Here, your boy.
To my patients and the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, who are the lifeblood of my professional career, I wish to apologize unreservedly to you for my crude and careless comments. Your wide and varied ethnic and social makeup are indeed a living testament to the fact that the comments which fell from my lips do not represent the manner in which I conduct myself. By my actions, I must have caused you great pain and trepidation, and for this I say to Trinidad and Tobago that I am indeed sorry and remorseful for my actions.
Man, sorry. The man read, well, you can tell he's reading his statements and the man telling police to dance. But the man reading out a statement, and I don't know if they do a little, emotional coaching as to how to sound genuine and thing, but whatever coaching they do, like Doc can take the coaching, boy. Is one of the more bland statements I ever hear. And I guess the man said sorry, yes. And again, I ain't here to defend nobody or to attack nobody. I I just saying one thing is, and I find, boy, I listened to that apology. That thing was so funny. And Dr. Sawh, somebody need to lend Dr. Sawh a hand, man. Dr. Sawh, you know, if you ever see the clip when he's sitting down next to his attorney doing this apology, when he not talking or doing anything, the man had a real alcohol kind of, you know, this guy kind of shake. If you get a chance to watch a clip, check my boy vibes now. Check out my boy getting the little head shake like he in all there, you know. He know all that. Especially to go and apologize like that to a group of people you don't like already, and you had to go and apologize. You gotta take a couple sips in it to make that happen. But it is what it is, and of course, is we versus them again, and them versus we, because a bunch of we and them now saying who not supposed to get back their license no more, and who can be a doctor again. And I saw like Kafra Kambon as one of the people leading the chart saying that the medical board needs to get rid of him. Mind you, this apology was 2 hours before the medical board hearing. And I ain't hear nothing from the medical board yet as to what they plan to do. But here Fuad can say that the medical board can't do anything because they have nothing. I don't want to misquote him, but he was almost saying like they have nothing specifically talking about the language that doctor use and those types of things and the views that the doctor express. But I find that strange, Dr. Khan, because the truth is that it wasn't so long ago when a young doctor, just at the intern stage, already graduated as a doctor and working as an intern, who went off the handle just like Dr. Sawh and reposted. I can't remember hearing her say anything like verbally like how he get recorded, but it was equally bad. It was in black and white. It was a Facebook post that she had shared, and that post, no, nobody will gonna take this clip and then I say this is what was posted. This was some time ago, right? I think this happened in 2018, and she was saying that these coolies in this country can never change. They are the ones eating flesh and drinking blood across the land, as they have no regard for the precious blood of Jesus. There is no hope for them, and they shall be judged accordingly to the Holy Bible. Hashtag believe me, I am a doctor among them. Oh God. So the hashtag was a disclaimer, but like the hashtag make it worse. And she had plenty comments under that too. And the comments on that, it's just as bad. So she would have made those comments, and it wouldn't have been very long after that the medical board came together and made a decision to dismiss her. And she can't practice medicine from what was said then. So I don't know what Fuad Khan had said back then. Maybe he talked about it and maybe he said the medical board and condemned the fact that they did it without having the authority to do so. But I don't remember that. But he said no. He says that the medical board can't do anything. So I find that strange that the precedent done set. So I eager to see what they do. But I mean, before I give my opinion, Delia came out and talked, Dr. Gabriel. I haven't heard from her in a long time, and a lot of talk went around saying that she was mentally unstable and all that, and plenty things were said. But she did a live last week as well to address this situation. So let's hear from her.
He will hire staff in the future, on the basis of their experience and qualifications, regardless of ethnicity. So, Dr. Sawh, I am calling on you. I expect you to retain your position as a doctor. I expect you to retain your license and your private practice and everything, because I know you guys are favored, considering what occurred with Ramsaran and all her racist rants, and then the items were temporarily recalled and then released the next day. You will employ persons, hire staff in the future on the basis of their experience and qualifications, regardless of ethnicity. I ain't not pleading with the Ministry of Health anymore, Neither the President. I ain't even pleading with the Prime Minister. I pleading with Dr. Sawh to remember this doctor who they fired. You say you're not hiring based on ethnicity. I'm a very competent individual in the medical field. If you ask listen, I'm very hardworking. I am zealous. I enjoy studying medicine. I am willing to work with you if you're willing to hire me. And we could just squash everything, just forget everything ever happened, all these apologies. I personally accept your apology, Dr. Sawh. So I am, this Facebook Live is especially for you because I would like to get back into the medical field. And since you are not hiring based on, on ethnicity, I am mainly of Afro-Trinidadian. As I said, my great-grandparents, straight from India. I have a little Indian in me. If you watch me good, you might see it. Right? Nevertheless, you're not looking at ethnicity.
Right.
And I know you are favored. So, somebody, if I am blessed, you're surely blessed. Right. And you're blessed to be a blessing.
Yes.
Just for your East Indian ethnicity. So just remember me, I'm pleading with you. I can send you my resume. I can send you recommendations, whatever is required. I am happy to move to South to resume some kind of practice in the medical field. Okay, thanks for your time. If by chance somebody could send this Dr. Sawh as soon as possible. This is a plea of desperation. I am seeking my daily bread. They took it away from me. They took away my life, my future. This was all my dreams from my childhood. This is all that I was ever trained and yearned after to become a doctor. You can imagine that?
No.
You're in primary school, you're in prep school, primary school, secondary school, you're going to university and, you're just behind this thing. You had to become a doctor. You sacrifice the usual enjoyment of like a normal teenager who makes sure they go and party, your young adulthood. I used to sacrifice my time and go in the library, Dr. Sawh. I know what it is to work hard and to study, to show yourself approved. So, Dr. Sawh, you is the man.
Yes.
I know it.
Yes.
I know it.
Yes.
I'm coming south.
Yes.
If you're willing, I am willing. We will shake hands and forget about this. Much
Social
love.
distance, no shake hands.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
No, listen. Like two of them learn to read and see. Anyway, let me unpack this, right? Because it's too much. It's too much. All right, so you get fired right? Because you share what is obviously a very racist post or create or share, I don't care which one it is, it was extremely racist, and you lost your work, right? Now, what you went on to say, what you're saying this time here, because I could see why, if I was you, I'd probably go live now too, because if they fire me and this man on the thing now, I coming back up, I saying, hey, Ollie, what's going on? Now, she did say in her live as well, I can't remember if it was in clip I just play or not, because her live was a little long. But she did say that she don't find he should get fired. And let me get to that in a while, but she basically saying that he hiring any ethnicity, not watching that, and all that was part of his apology. So I find she moved smart to jump up one time and jump on board this bandwagon as it being discussed now. But McGill, why you calling the man Dr. Sawh? You're saying Sawh sometimes, which means you know how to pronounce the man's name. Why are you saying Dr. Sawh? How you think that will come? Given what you lose your job for, right? You don't think you would want to be a little more sensitive to making sure that you call the name right and thing. If you post something like that back in the day and you're apologetic of it, wouldn't you be more mindful of the way you talk to somebody or call the name so that it don't sound like you're mocking the man's name and saying Sawh and Sawh and all. You're saying it's Sawh when you're ready, you're saying Sawh when you're ready. I can remember a time when I was working at TSTT, good co-worker and partner of mine, Kester Lashley, a good one. Wait, nice, Kester Lashley? No, Kester Lashley was from you. Yeah, next Kester. I can't remember Kester name from TSTT, But Kester used to sit down on the desk in front of me. And them days, I was working on a job where, like, when you now apply for a phone line, you used to pay, I think it's $212 for the line and $300 security deposit. All kind of thing. TSTT had a little process, right? So my job was to call. They used to print out a list. Every morning you reach your work, you print out this list of names. Like, you remember them days, I don't know if it's called that dot matrix printer, when that was sort of blue and white sheets of paper. Well, I had a whole long list of that. We used to print out every morning and call each customer to say, well, your phone rang, ready, come to sign, we need a security deposit, blah, blah, blah. The whole morning you're making calls. And I remember watching a name on the list, right? And I didn't think nothing of it. So I called the lady and I say, hello, I'm calling to speak to Stacy Bachan. And I talk to her and whatever and tell her, when I come over the phone, Kester turn around, Kester say, Corey, you need to get in touch with your East Indian heritage. It's almost Stacy Bachan, it's Bachan. I feel bad. I ain't trying to mock people's name or nothing like that. I just didn't know. The man was right. It's like you're living in a country, you're doing a job as a public, in the public sector, you're talking to people and things. Spend a little time understanding it now. So I can't understand why you as a doctor, if you are a doctor and you was well thinking your hashtag to say I work among them, if you are a doctor, you know the name Sawh. So why you keep saying Sawh for your mama guy anyway, that maybe that is neither here nor there. I nitpick it. Now why you had to say your Indian and your family walk barefoot from Calcutta, and she said from the Indian environment, the Indian region. I said, what that had to do with the price of rice? No pun intended. I trying to figure out what is you trying to say. What you getting at when you say, as some Indian and men, when you watch my good, you will see. Like, why? If you was coming out and saying, listen, I apologized and I felt like I learned from my mistake, and I think that I want to be reinstated, and I don't find Dr. Sawh should get fired. He might learn from his mistake as well. Just like I would think you take a high road like that, but nah. With any high road you taking, you have to say, and you have favor. Just from being East Indian, you have what? What's your expectation? I guess this is what I'm trying to ask. When you come out and say what you said, like how you said it, what's your plan? You really planning to get back somebody? She went on to say that she faced a judge, and the judge, who of course was Indian, is like, hey. You're now crying about how you lost your profession and thing and you're doing the very thing that caused you to lose your profession in the mix. Come on. What manner of woman is this? I don't understand, but I mean, I guess I understand where she's coming from, but I couldn't believe that is what she went on to say. And listen, what I played there is a small clip of several times she went live with Dr. Delia Gabriel. You go and look for it on Facebook if you have some time. I was surprised. It's like you just sink yourself deeper, and I don't know how you're coming. I feel you sink Dr. Sawh too, because if he was getting off, I know if he would get off no more. Now, let me talk about my opinion about this and why I have an issue with cancel culture. Am I supporting Dr. Sawh or Dr. Gabriel's remarks? Of course not. And that is not how I feel. That is not how I feel about anybody. And I do feel as if people who make comments like those should face consequences. My issue is this. Is it right that the consequences is the stripping them of their career and the thing that they study? I don't think it would be right for Dr. Sawh, and I don't think it was right for that young intern. I mean, you hear what you hear, right? But when you listen to some of the things that she said, boy, she can't get a job. She take all the doctor thing off and she trying to get work in a store just to get a little ends, and she settled her mother. Like her mom makes I think it's figurines or some sort of craft, and she's selling. I mean, why? Okay, I'm not in any way in support of what she said and apparently what she continues to say. But why you must take somebody's livelihood away from them, especially somebody who studied to be a doctor? You know how hard it is to pay back them bills or I say medical fees now. What's the name of the thing? School fees. When you spend all that time being a doctor and at your internship, you never really get to make money or make back the money from your career. Now, you might ask yourself, well, what the consequences should be. I find the medical board and everybody should have, is a couple things. The medical board should have the teeth to come and say, hey, this is what needs to be done based on where you are and the things that you've said and where you come out in public. Also, keep in mind that the market is a brutal judge. It still have demand and supply. Because I can tell you, I might breaks to go by a doctor. If I hear Dr. Sawh, that is how he talking about people. And how police thing and talking, I don't want to go by you. I could also say that I not going. If I hear my doctor talking about any other race like that, it don't have to be black people. If I hear you talking like that, I'm not going back there. Salute to my guy, Dr. White. He's a great one. That not happening. That not happening. But if I hear him just broke loose and start to talk about how Indian people this, I'm not going back there because I don't trust you. If that's how you talk and that's how you see in life, I don't trust you. And as a doctor, I don't trust you with everything. I remember, like, I'll tell you about me and Dr. White at time. One time at band camp, I can't remember if I tell this story in an earlier episode, but I'll tell it again. I was going to Tobago. Same TSTT we working on. We make a little Tobago plan, but we go into Tobago and have a little lime. And when I go on the Friday now to go on the boat, I had a little I had a wisdom to gain me some trouble. And I take some cataflam. That was my normal go-to. Once I feeling anything, so and that was happening for a while. But every time I take the cataflam, I was good. And this time I take the cataflam and nothing become it. And I was telling Oli when I reached, by the time I reached Tobago, my throat and everything swell under my chin, swollen. My chest starting to swell up. I can't even open my mouth and eat by the Saturday morning. I still lime and I studying a little Tobago dumpling and a little dumpling in Tobago that I want to love up. And my mouth can't even open, so I know I kind of love up. I want to love up now, but I stupidly still went and I come home early, but I went on the boat. I don't know why I didn't go and try and get a flight and come back. And I wait till Monday morning to go by Dr. White, boy. And like I say, Dr. White is my guy. My mother carried me by him since I was a baby. It's like pediatrician vibes from then all the way up to now, big man. If anything wrong is there going. And boy, is the most serious I see that man. Because he's a man like to talk and make joke and how your mother and this and that. And boy, that man get real serious when he see me. But I guess my face looking serious too because the whole side of my face swollen till the skin shining. And that man say, what is happening with you? I barely could open my mouth to explain. I was like, well, doctor, it went on swollen and them kind of things. But I'm not sure if it's a wisdom tooth or... He said, let me tell you something. He said, you see that swelling? That swelling either going and go travel to your heart and kill you or travel to your brain and kill you. Boy, here now, at this point, I just never see him that serious. Like, it was morbid. He was like, that you are going to die. Why you now come here? When the swelling starts? And he going into doctor mode, but that was rough. And you know, it's all looking like my face something so heavy that I had to hold it when I walk. And I had to hold it, below your chin there, like by your jaw. I had to hold it. First it heavy and full. And boy, that man inject me with cataflam and an antibiotic. Well, I don't know if it was cataflam. It's an anti-inflammatory and an antibiotic to stop the swelling and treat whatever it is. Because, I mean, my mouth can't even open for you to see what is wrong. And here, that anti-inflammatory is the most painful injection I ever feel. When he inject me, it feel like it burn, then it feel like pressure. And he tell me up front, the man would hush me like a child. I'm okay. Pain on that bed with that thing, boy. And beyond that, when I sit back down, that man tell me, he say, Corey, there's no reason for somebody as young as you to be so violently ill. I needed to take a HIV test immediately. Well, boy, I can't even see. I can't even see what happened in the room at that point. I say, well, boy, I have it soaking. I go in. It's goodbye. I'm only studying who going down with my studying who I carry down. Then he say, they're going to, he said, I'm a specialist. Throat out. I don't know what the person was, but they had to draw blood. Boy, that was a rough time, boy. I go on by the dentist. Now, he didn't send me by no dentist, but I go on by the dentist because I want the dentist to tell me it's my wisdom tooth. And she said, basically, well, you can't check nothing. The doctor do the right thing, you know what I mean? He stopped the thing and the swelling will stop. And when that go down, once it go down and you could open your mouth, we could check. And I asked the dentist, well, hey, you know, if you feel it's HIV, it's like, well, you can't. I don't know how doctors deal with people and these things. She's like, well, you can't rule out anything. You have to get it test results. All the man going to draw the thing to see if it's good, asking he if it's that. And I don't do an x-ray now. I'm limping going into the x-ray with my whole self looking like a gimp and thing. But anyway, I'm telling that long story to say, I'm not going by Dr. Sawh for Dr. Sawh to give me neither of them injections because I dead for sure. And wherever it is, I have it soaking. Because if that's the way you feel about black people, how I go let you inject me with anything? I mean, I never, when Dr. White tell me that, I had no doubts about what the man say. I tell him, I think I go on and I gone for the blood test results. And while I'm waiting for them to take the blood, because I don't tell myself I have it soaking, and I started writing on a list now. I started writing woman name. I say, boy, and I started thinking about every mole all of them have. I say, this one have a mole, and that is the one I get. Have it soaking. But anyway, I'm not going by Dr. Sawh for Dr. Sawh to give me no bad injection. I'm also not going by no Dr. Gabriel, because if you see in a group of people and based on their ethnicity, you decide openly that you don't care about this and all of them is the same, and I don't want to go by you neither. You're unstable. As far as I'm concerned, it's better I stay away from you. So my thing about it is this: me ain't taking away nobody livelihood from them, and I also find like it much better and much easier for me to figure out how to navigate these streets when you come out openly and say you don't like black people, or you don't like Indian, or you don't like white. Wherever you come out and say all your racist bigotry and anti-religious and anti-wherever the list is that we call, you come out and say them things really now. The faster you come out and tell me that, I kind of know how to work around you and not be around you. And I go be appreciative of that. I have no problem breaking from anybody who dies. If that's the way you choose to live, that's on you. But I mean, they both I guess she had apologized a long time ago, but she get as bad. Well, it's not as bad, right? Whatever it is, she can't practice no more. And while we waiting to hear what happened to Dr. Sawh, well, one of the things Dr. Sawh make sure to say is that he going through some diversity training and thing. And luckily, I have a little clip from the diversity training. So let's see, take in this and tell me if you feel it will help them.
Or maybe, while we discuss business, you could provide one of your loveliest black creatures to escort Django here around your magnificent grounds.
Oh, well, absolutely. Bettina.
Yes, sir, Big Dad.
What's your Jimmy's name again?
Django.
Django. Bettina Sugar, could you take Django there and take him around the grounds here and show him all the pretty stuff?
As you please, Big Dad.
Oh, Mr. Bennett, I must remind you, Django is a free man. He cannot be treated like a slave. Within the bounds of good taste, he must be treated as an extension of myself.
Understood, Schultz. Bettina Sugar?
Yes, sir.
Django isn't a slave. Django is a free man, you understand? You can't treat him like any of the other niggas around here because he ain't like any of the other niggas around here. You got it?
You want I should treat him like white folks?
No. That's not what I said.
Then I don't know what you want, Big Daddy.
Yes, I can see that. What's the name of that Peckerwood boy from town that works with the glass? His mama work over at the lumber yard.
Oh, you mean Jerry?
That's the boy's name, Jerry. You know Jerry, don't you, Sugar?
Yes, sir, Big Daddy.
Well, that's it then. You just treat him like you would Jerry.
Just treat them like you would Jerry, Dr. Sawh, and Dr. Gabriel. Just treat them like you would Jerry. It's so simple. And like, listen, I mean, I get kicked out, but I end up getting exposed a little bit of diversity training myself one time. And it is really not an easy thing to navigate. I mean, open and blatant racism should never be, or covert should never really be accepted. But the fact is, we all have biases. And that training, or that little exposure to that training, I should say, and the discussion around it, making me start to realize that, listen, a big part of it is really just understanding and empathizing with people, like understanding where they're coming from, understanding what issues they may have. Like, our perception and our viewpoints of the world really is a very layered and complicated thing based on plenty of things, your culture, your bringing, your household, your experiences. There's so much different parts of it. And I ain't defending neither of them. Whatever happened. But I'm just saying that for me, when I look at what it takes to become diversity and accepting of different types of people, some who you mightn't even agree with, is a journey. And I guess all of us, especially in Trinidad here, we need to take that journey more often. We're not the most open-minded, empathetic people to differences. Now, once you're a little different from what we call the norm or what we see as the norm, there's a place where you could easily get ostracized and, I suppose, get out of society overall. But I mean, to Dr. Sawh, I hope Dr. Gabriel get through a little work too, man. I mean, I feel for her, you know what I mean? You're out of the medical world 2 years down the road, and it's not going to be a nice thing if Dr. Sawh doesn't get fired. Or I mean, you know where I stand on that. But if he end up getting back his job, and she don't ever get back her job, you know our racist rant is coming. She got an only better hold her Facebook if that was to happen. So hopefully that'll happen, man. If they find a way to keep him there, reinstate Dr. Gabriel, man, give the girl a next chance. Maybe she will be a little, but she needs to go on Django too for a while because she clearly needs some diversity training. Yes, but it's just not the right time to lose your job. It's just a hard time to be on the breadline. And I see that happening with like UTT. I was reading this week that UTT is closing down for 4 campuses. Corinth is one of them campuses. That's where Stacey did her degree to do teaching and stuff. And I remember, I mean, I wasn't in the program, of course, but I remember, like, I have plenty of memories of just picking her up, dropping her there, checking on her, you know, studying. And so for our campus to close is such a sad and almost depressing thing. This week was a good bit of that 2 years. And it makes you wonder, like, how we as a society view development. Is it that we do a big set of developments and a lot of work when we have plenty of money and when the oil price high and when we have high levels of production with no real plan for what happens if the production drop or the price drop? It seems so. Because it looked like if the goal now or the only response we really have is to shut down this and shut down that. And I'm seeing that same conversation that happened around UTT happening around WASO. I mean, it's essential, so that I don't think they're going to stop sending water to our homes, but slowly but surely the conversation shifting towards either privatization or leaving them open to set their own rates and I guess removal of any subsidy or anything like that. Either way, it's going to be when that happened with T&Tech too, it will be a hell of a thing, because we pay a very, very low electricity bill compared to other places. And I mean, politicians say that all the time. It really wouldn't matter to us here. If I pay in the bill, I pay in the bill. And if I find it's plenty, it's plenty. It doesn't matter what they're paying in Barbados. But I mean, I feel it myself in Jamaica. That light bill used to come every month. And it used to come every month for higher than what my light bill was here for every 2 months with a pretty big family living in the place. So if they remove the subsidies from water and electricity, at the same time when so many people losing jobs, we in for a little bit of a rough road over the next maybe few years. And it's hard to see what really was the fallback position, what replaces that oil revenue. And I don't know, especially when we're in a situation where a big part of our revenue and our attracting tourists and attracting foreign exchange had to do with bringing people together like Carnival and those things, and that not happening. I don't like saying it too often, but that not happening next year, February for sure, and if it happened for the year at all, we don't know. And it makes you ask questions about where we're going to be 2-3 years down the road, boy. This is going to be a rough place to live in. It's done getting rough already as we talk about week to week, but this is going to be a hard place to live in, because if we miss our whole carnival, think of this, right? Our carnival is like the mecca, the starting point, the spot for what the annual carnival calendar looks like, right? So if Trinidad Carnival cancelled and we have no road march, no soca monarch, none of them things, no song that emerge as a fete march or nothing, what's going to happen in the other carnivals? So the next carnival to follow after ours, what was the plan for them? If they eventually put on a carnival, what music they're going to use to drive it? Or, our carnival is such a knock-on effect for some entrepreneurs where you do well here as an artist, for instance. You're probably booked for the rest of the year all over, carnivals all over the world for the rest of the year until you come back here. But all the artists who missing out on that, and all the producers and promoters, and it's like a big gap. So when you're looking at just Trinidad Carnival cancelling, it kind of, not to sound too like conceited, but how Jamaica having a carnival without Trinidad Carnival happening at all? Was the music? Was the plan? I guess we fall back on some older music, or I suppose artists will still release music, but it wouldn't have the same energy as it didn't get road ready. It's just radio songs. So, I mean, just thinking about those things. I just feeling like if we poised for a couple rough years ahead, and I guess we all have to figure out how we're going to navigate it. And the thing about it is COVID just expedites us to this position, because I feel we'd always be heading there, but now we're starting to come to terms with the fact that it's right in your face, and we just had to deal with it. But I mean, it looked like we're pushing forward, because I see something going around early this week about a revitalization of Port of Spain. Now, I know we heard this before, right? We heard this plenty times before. Patrick Manning talk about this, Basil Pandey talk about this, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar talk about this. But now Rollers is on the job. So Rollers say that we're going and do over the whole of Port of Spain. I think they had a launch on Monday about a revitalization plan, and T&amp Instagram was warm. Everybody in the T&amp was reposting this thing, and I mean, I like it. I kind of like the idea of, like, even if everything about us now first world, I like the idea of making the capital more lively and vibrant and mostly cleaner. Like, I mean, the choice of words is a hell of a thing, right? But the man said Queen's Street is the toilet of Port of Spain, or of the country. I mean, but he ain't far off, and we have plenty. Listen, if Queen Street is the toilet, down by the cathedral is the urinal, we have plenty of it. It have plenty of it going on. But and I guess the homeless people is one issue, right? But we generally, as a society, we don't really keep the place. We don't appreciate what we have. I in the same boat, because I remember traveling and taking pictures of just random buildings here. I don't have a single picture of the Red House, which is a beautiful building. I don't have a single picture that's in my phone or saved anywhere that I take for myself or anything like that. So it's like, how do we, like, while we revitalize the city in terms of the buildings and hopefully some more green spaces, and oh God, please make it cleaner, how we revitalize our own mindset, boy, that we could treat our city with some love and respect. And I mean, even the promenade could be such a nice place. If you ever work in town, as an example, you know, you could go on the promenade and breeze a little bit, or Woodford Square, and just breeze, and you just catch yourself from the hustle and bustle of the day. But I mean, sometimes the homeless take over the spaces a lot, but we have a lot of people who just like loiter. Them just come in town and they sit down there, and that is the spot for the whole day. And it's an argument and a language, and you know, it just not as relaxing as it could be. So I looking on at that. I want to see more of it, and I really just catch a glimpse of it on Monday and what they're planning to do. And most of it seems to be around infrastructure, but I'm really eager to see how they're gonna change the mindset in the city, or, you know what I mean, change the way the city feel, not just how it look, to make it safer for people, and make a more make it a walking kind of city again, where you could walk and just go there and enjoy yourself. Like, you remember that time you used to just go in town? I don't know if people still do that, like just go in town and walk around. I don't like doing it too much again. And even as we talking about that, like, they had done a lot of work. I think it was CDA, Shagaramas Development Authority, doing some work there with they added a bicycle lane and thing. I wonder how safe they could make it for like bikes to ride in and out of town and that kind of thing. We need to lift up the vibes of the city, you know. Change what our waterfront looking like. I know how expensive that is, but like, I always think of when you get a room in Hyatt and you look out there, it's not the most pretty sight. But when you think of it, right, forget how it's looking now. If you think of a city that have a big bay right in front of a lighthouse as one of the entrances to the city, that could look a lot nicer. Like, if anybody ever went to Barbados, they have a kind of marina coming into the middle of Bridgetown. How come we can't do something like that? We can't do that. We can make there look like real inviting. Even Citygate look like it want one big power washer. It's a real nice structure and everything, eh? But we need a dinosaur-sized power washer to just clean up the whole thing. And then when you look at coming from there, all the way to Broadway, going up Frederick Street, going up to the Savannah. The tongue don't really have one central way it looks. Like they have some cities you go to where the city have a vibe and a feel. So it's not saying Port of Spain don't have the vibe, but it's so helter-skelter. And maybe it's just the way we develop. But from the time you leave a colonial type building when you come out of City Gate in terms of the design and stuff. And then you walk up Broadway. Very little on Broadway have anything to do with that feel like in City Gate. And then when you reach the Independence Square now on the promenade, one of the first things you see is a big empty car park where Salvatore building used to be. And some people selling clothes outside of it. And it's not even a nice looking thing. They just have a chain link fence around it. And the foundation, pieces of the foundation, the building still there. It's uneven. So, I mean, I'm hoping I'm leaving it to the powers that be. These fellas, I guess, they're doing a good job. They come up with a plan. So I want to see what that city going to look like when it's done. And how much of a space it's going to become for us to relax and enjoy just being in town again. I'm saying that because we are no carnival, so what the hell we go do again but go and sit down in town and enjoy yourself. But until then, we'll see what the other plans are, and I will talk to you next week. Once it come out, we will talk about it again, right? So enjoy all week, and everybody stay safe.